everybody, I'm Hank Winchester, Help Me Hank, and this is our first episode of Help Me Hank right here on Local 4 Plus. We really wanted to do this show to connect with all of you, to share the latest consumer news and information, to talk about scams. I get so many emails every day from Metro Detroiters all over the place who are caught up in some type of a scam. So this could be a great opportunity for me to share with you what scams are happening here in our community, and also to talk to the experts, to get information from all of them to help prepare you and your family and keep all of you safe. So we're also going to have an opportunity to share your direct emails, answer your questions right here. We're calling that the Help Me Hank mailbag. Very creative, right? But we're excited to have this opportunity and this platform, and so I encourage you to hit me up on all the social medias, get us on clickondetroit.com, because we'd like to hear from you and know what you'd like to hear about here on the Help Me Hank show on Local 4 Plus. A lot of big news today, and we're following some of the financial information that's been coming down. In fact, as you may have heard, the Fed now cutting rates by 0.5 point. That is huge and significant because, as you know, so many people right now are dealing with problems financially, and this cut could make a big difference. It could impact everything from the rates for mortgages to credit cards to how we spend our money day in and day out, and how much money will actually end up staying with us. So we actually sat down with an expert. His name is Dewey Steffen. He is the CEO of Great Lakes Wealth here in Metro Detroit. And we were talking with Dewey actually before the actual announcement came down from the Fed, getting his perspective on what could happen and what it could mean for all of us. So take a look at Dewey Steffen. All right, everybody, we're talking money now and the news that's coming out today. So we're with financial expert Dewey Steffen, the CEO of Great Lakes Wealth. So Dewey, talk us through this. What could this mean, and what do we anticipate happening today?
Well, the Fed is cutting rates today, that much we know, and that's going to help stimulate the economy. It's going to boost consumer spending. I mean, almost all the way around, it's a great thing.
So how long have we known that this was coming? There's been a lot of talk that this was going to be coming. Why now?
Well, because again, the Federal Reserve is going to talk today after they announce the rate cut, and they'll have some comments, and they'll talk about probably a weakening economy, and they're trying to front run what could become a mild recession later on, so they need to try to stimulate economic growth now.
So is this, as we look towards the end of the year and the last part of the calendar year, is this anticipated to help, you know, in September, October, November, December, or when do we see that we'll anticipate some change because of this?
Well, typically rate cuts are one at a time, and they're 25 basis points or 0.25% at a time. And then they have a meeting almost every month. It's not really every month, but almost. And they've actually forecasted, or I should say Wall Street has actually forecasted not just one cut today, but multiple cuts into the year end. Some say as little as 3, some say as many as 6. So this is just the beginning.
So how does that affect the everyday consumer? Does it drive down mortgage rates, credit card costs? What do we look at?
Absolutely. The big purchases are the big deal. So mortgage rates absolutely drop. Car, auto loans absolutely drop. Credit card rates should drop. All of your debt, current rates should go down. If the new rates also should be lower than they currently are.
So the information that I hear, and I'm not the money expert like you are, is that things have been trending in the right direction, that unemployment is down, that inflation has been dropping a little bit. Is that really not kind of where we're setting right now? So why the need for the drop?
So if you remember, over 2 years ago, inflation was as high as 9%. And so the Fed had to start cutting rates because inflation was out of control. Well, guess what? Believe it or not, inflation is down to under 3% now. And that is, you know, low inflation. Well, there's deflation. So now they actually need to increase costs. So as hard as it is for our, you know, customers, our consumers, our listeners, our viewers to understand prices are low according to the Federal Reserve, they might not be low as we're spending. Inflation is under control according to the Federal Reserve, and they actually need to stimulate some growth.
So we're in a presidential election year. Is that why we're seeing this too? Does that factor into it or no?
Well, conspiracy theorists may say so because sure, if you can reduce interest rates and stimulate the economy just before a general election, not just presidential, but the houses of Congress as well, then that would be, again, a conspiracy theory point of view. We just believe that from an economic perspective, if you have a situation where there's a recession coming or you need to stimulate the economy, this is what you do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Dewey. All right, some good money news there for all of you. Now, listen, this story that we've got coming up right now, I am so passionate about this story because it has been a huge problem in my life because I love downtown Royal Oak. I love shopping in downtown Royal Oak. I love hanging out in downtown Royal Oak. Look at how pretty downtown Royal Oak looks. Actually, it just looks like a forest right there. But it is the Tree City, right? Isn't it? Royal Oak? No? Okay. It's what? That's Ann Arbor. Okay. Anyways, you see Royal Oak, allegedly. Who knows? Listen, here's the thing, though. Parking in Royal Oak, it has been a mess for the last 3 or 4 years. That's when Royal Oak installed new parking meters, a new system. And quite frankly, it was a disaster, riddled with problems and glitches. But now the good news is that a new system will soon make its way to Royal Oak. Take a look. Parking in Royal Oak, it's been a mess for many since this new parking system was installed. You know the one where on some streets you have to back in?
I don't like them.
Sharon from Detroit says the parking problems here in Royal Oak have sometimes caused her to steer clear of the city.
I just get this sense of anxiety, like I gotta run and stop eating dinner and run out here and take care of it. I just don't like them.
Okay, here's some more information. Now, these current meters, they're here in Royal Oak until December 31st, 2025. Now, the good news in ending this contract, the city's going to save about $935,000. But the question is, has the financial damage already been done? Because business owners will tell you they've lost 20 to 50% of their business during the last few years.
I don't think there's any question that it was a negative impact.
Emilio, owner of popular Alex Emilio Salon here in the heart of downtown Royal Oak, is happy to know that this parking problem will soon be solved.
Royal Oak has been declining since it happened, so I think it's the only thing they could have done to really make it better.
The city of Royal Oak releasing a statement. It reads in part, as Royal Oak continues to grow and evolve, so must our infrastructure. We've taken your feedback to heart and are committed to implementing a more effective solution that aligns with the needs and expectations of everyone in Royal Oak. To ensure that our parking system evolves with the needs of our community, we have begun the process of transitioning to a new parking system. That's some good news in Royal Oak. That new parking system, though, it's going to take a while. They're not going to roll it out for about another year and a half, and they promise plenty of public input before they decide on the new company. Okay, every day I hear from so many of you. I get hundreds of emails. I get tips through our WDIV Local 4 help desk. We're going to have more on that coming up here. I get a lot of tips through our tip line, but I also just received a lot of emails and social media tips and information from you, the viewers. And I want to just share a few of them that we got in today, because hopefully the questions that they're asking and the answers that we have could help some of you watching this today. So the first question, it comes to us from Marla in Detroit. And Marla says, help me, Hank. I have an abandoned house on my street. It is now becoming a danger for kids nearby. What should I do? Listen, Marla, I get information and tips about abandoned homes in Detroit, in Highland Park, in Pontiac, in other neighborhoods throughout Metro Detroit every single day. I get that it is a huge problem, and the city of Detroit has really done an incredible job boarding up and tearing down thousands of abandoned homes every year, but unfortunately there are still some out there. So what should you do? The best tool is to use the Improved Detroit app. You can take a photo of the problem. The city guarantees a response within 48 hours. If that doesn't work, you can get in touch with your neighborhood district manager. Now, these are people put in place that are there to help you directly, the people within your neighborhood. That's what their job is to do, to help you and to kind of address some of those concerns. You can also make sure that you get in touch with the city, let them know directly about the problem. There are, different departments that deal with nuisance and building safety. And again, if you provide them the information, if you keep a log of everything that's been going on at that property, the city will work to help you. But I know it can be frustrating, but there are tools, resources that can help you out. Okay, we got another question from Sharon in Detroit. She says, Hank, my landlord is a slumlord. I don't even have running water. He won't answer my calls, and I don't have money to move. That's another one I get all the time. Landlord problems are a huge problem, but here's what you might not know. If you are dealing with financial problems, the city understands that, and they have resources where they can move you to temporary housing free of charge, doesn't cost you a dime. You just need to get in touch with the Building and Safety Department from the city of Detroit. So not only will they help you move, if it's a situation where you really want to stay in the house, they will help work with the landlord to fix whatever problems exist. And that's true whether you're in a rental home or whether you're an apartment building. Understand that you, as the tenant, you do have rights. You just have to take the first step by getting in touch with somebody. And don't worry, you're protected. You're not going to be evicted. Once the city has this information, they really want to work with you to try to come to a resolution. So every week, we're going to try to answer some of your questions. We hope there are questions that resonate with many of you, but I get a lot of tips every single day. I appreciate them. Keep them coming because we want to share that information with all of you. Scam interview? Okay. Can I just pick it up here? All right. So one of the main duties of Help Me Hank is to report on scams and the big issues affecting everybody here in Metro Detroit. One of the things that we've been talking about here, because it's approaching less than 50 days, the election. We've gotten information about different election scams. If you get a text message asking you to, register to vote or for your personal information, ignore it, be cautious. Those text messages can be concerning. But it's not just the election. As you know, unfortunately, there are so many big scams out there, and we try to stay on top of them. I work really closely with the Better Business Bureau to kind of give you all the information that you need. In fact, I stopped there yesterday at their headquarters in Southfield. Take a listen. All right, we're here now at the Better Business Bureau. We're talking with Nakia Mills, and we talk about scams all the time because the BBB works to track a lot of different scams in Metro Detroit. We've been focusing on a lot about election scams, and you're hearing about these right now too. The one that we were just talking about was people, asking for personal information for you to vote. We've heard of text messaging scams. What should people be doing right now if they're trying to get real information about how, when, and where to vote?
The best thing to do is go to a legitimate, trusted website. I know stations like yours have information, and then you can go to the state of Michigan. The Secretary of State has all sorts of helpful information, and then voter.gov has a lot of information too. So just go somewhere that you've heard of, that you know is researched and legitimate, and don't just wait for someone off the street to approach you.
Yeah, we're getting into the fall season. Kids are back in school. That means a whole new list of scams that we need to be aware of and pay attention to. The BBB tracks these scams. When we get to fall, anything specific that we should be looking at? The one that I always remember that happened in the fall were those classic old driveway seal coating scams. Those tend to kind of peak around this time of year, right?
Those, and along with almost think anything home improvement sort of time of year, in the spring and the fall is when we're kind of looking at our house and we need to prepare it for the winter now.
Yeah.
So once again, before you do anything with anyone, please, and I'm not just plugging bbb.org, but it is a great source because you can see, have they received complaints? Are they honorable with their work? So just do your research before you give your money, and don't give a cash down payment for these home improvement scams, please.
Especially never pay for home improvement in full up front.
Oh my gosh, please no.
I know. I get emails so many times. I get at least one a day, and we probably get 100 emails or tips or calls a day. And there's at least one person who will say, we paid the full amount for XYZ project and never heard back from the contractor. Because once they have the money, the incentive is kind of gone if they're a shady contractor.
And also get it in writing, because sometimes people think, oh, it's my best friend's cousin, I trust them, and everything's word of mouth.
Yeah.
So then if they do disappear, you don't even have a way to try to take them to court to get your money back.
But word of mouth, though, I always think is key. Like I recently had my driveway done, and it turned out good. And I'd done my homework, but I had at least 3 different neighbors who either, if they were people I didn't know who were a few blocks down, left a note in my mailbox, or if there were people I knew who said like, hey, who was that company? It looked like they were doing like the legit job. Word of mouth like that, when you know the people, that's the best reference of all, right?
It's a pretty good, I'll say best, but still look.
What do you think the best is? Just checking their license and everything?
Yes,
Yeah.
The combination of you've heard good things about this from people that you truly know and trust, and then on top of that, still do your own research. Always do your own research.
You really have to take the time to do it, and it is time consuming,
Yes,
but
very
it's
much.
better than just being burned.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
You don't want your driveway half torn up.
No.
You don't want to give away your money,
money.
and they never do the work. So just always make sure that you're really looking into that company before you do any work with them.
Yeah, because you don't want to get stuck in a legal battle with somebody that's going to drag it out. The other scam I hear very often around this time, because we're thinking ahead to winter, is you might get in your mailbox or a phone call or a text about snow removal companies. Now, there are many legitimate, valid companies out there that do a great job, but the few that ask for payment for the entire season rather than just how much they're removing, can sometimes be a red flag.
Yeah, see my face, how it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
flag.
yeah, yeah.
As soon as, the same way we were talking with home improvement, as soon as we start talking about paying all up front, it's kind of a red flag. Even maybe get a deposit, 50%, 25%, but asking someone to pay for the entire thing up front, so many things can happen. Even if it ends up being a legitimate business, you might have to file a complaint. What if something happens to them during the year?
Yeah.
Their truck breaks down, they can't even move your snow, or something happens and they're hurt.
Yeah.
So it's just very dangerous to pay up front, because even if it is a legitimate business, you might end up having to come to us to file a complaint instead of a scam report.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We love the BBB. They are so helpful in helping us to get information about scams and alert people about scams. And we also rely on all of you to give us the tips. I mean, we follow your stories, your tips, your suggestions. And I want to bring in Ken Haddad. Ken is...
Hi, Hank.
Hi, Ken. Ken is one of the people who runs this entire building. Yeah.
That's true. By the way, who greenlit this? Like, who gave you a show? This is
I have
crazy.
no idea.
Is this what we're rolling with? Is this the launch merch?
That's our merch.
I don't
Do
know
you
if
see
You
it?
probably can't see it,
Help
but
Me
it's
Hank
just a
mug.
styrofoam cup
Yeah.
that says "Help Me Hank."
If you'd
so.
like one, just DM me.
Yeah.
They're $29.99.
Bidding starts at $29.99. I'm sure it'll go up.
We wanted to talk to Ken today because he's fascinating, and because he has a mustache, and because he helps us with our Local 4 help desk. Now, the help desk is a great resource. It is a great tool, in all seriousness, to help us hear directly from you. So kind of explain to us how it works and what the intention of it is.
Well, we want to hear directly from people, and so it's a system that organizes all of the incoming messages that come in. Because previously as you were saying earlier, we get tips for Help Me Hank all over the place.
Yeah.
From social media to email to
Letters in the mail.
letters. Yeah,
I still
physical
get a lot
letters.
of letters. There's the help desk right there.
So the help desk brings most of that together. The letters do not make the letters don't make it in here, unfortunately.
No.
But email, social media messages, messages through our website, all of those things come into one system, and that makes it easier for us to manage all of the incoming messages. It makes it easier for you to respond to people. It makes it easier for us to help people find solutions to their issues.
So that's, if you go to the main page of clickondetroit.com, you pull down one of the tabs, or is it one of the banners at the top?
You can go to click on and click the contact us page.
Okay.
Or you can just go to help.clickondetroit.com.
So then once you go there, if you want to get in touch with Help Me Hank, for example, there's the thing pops down.
Yeah, sure, the thing.
But
Yeah.
there's all different categories. So if you needed to get in touch with, the investigators, if you wanted to comment for Flashpoint.
Yeah, you would
Good
just
help.
click the Help Me Hank one, and those messages will go to directly to you.
Yeah.
Also, the cool thing about Help Desk is we have a resource center. So a lot of the issues, like even the ones you were talking about earlier with like landlord issues, we have resources on that. So you
like
don't
the numbers and the information for people right there.
information that points you in the right direction to help you solve your own problem, so you don't necessarily need Hank. Sorry.
Is that possible?
Is that possible?
Are you trying to push me out of a job? This is our last show, everybody.
Yeah, this is it. Wrap it up. But yeah, so you can
Yeah,
find,
right there.
Yeah, you can find the knowledge base there too, and there's hundreds of articles there on different topics, from property issues to healthcare things to insurance, and even stuff like how to register to vote. Like there's things that a lot of people are constantly looking for information for, and you can self-serve yourself that information.
That's great. The thing that I like about it the most is there's an opportunity there, like you can on the Improved Detroit app, where if you want to attach a photo, because sometimes somebody will tell me, like, I have this gigantic sinkhole, it's this, and I'm like, oh, great, instead of it's hard to drive to every one of them.
Yeah.
You can attach a photo, and we can, take that photo, and I can take that and send that directly to the people I work with at DWSD. And sometimes it ends up being a news story, but if it's not, then we still have the information, and we can. And also, please include a phone number.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't include a phone number. I need to be able to talk to you at some point.
Yeah, Hank's a phone guy.
I like
if my phone
phones.
rings, I'm like running away. Hank is
Yeah.
excited. He's like, "Oh, someone's calling."
That's because I'm old, right? Old people like
That's
phones.
not why,
Yeah,
Hank. That's
I
not
still have
why.
like one of those in the kitchen with the ding ding ding
Oh,
ding. ding.
jeez.
No, I'm kidding.
A
I'm
rotary phone.
But yeah, that's what they call it. Yeah.
Okay.
But the help desk is a great tool, and of course, you can reach out to us on all the social media platforms. The good old fashioned email. There's the tip line number. I love the tip line 313-588-0423.
And you can text the tip line.
Yeah, that's texting. That's the texting number. The tip line numbers was up there a second ago, too. It's 313-634-WDIV. Look at that. But those are all the different ways you can get in touch with us, of course, at the help desk, too. So, again, just a great opportunity for us to connect. What do you think about the inaugural show of Help Me Hank on Local 4 Plus?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. Straight tens, fire as the kids would say.
tens across the board. I couldn't ask for anything more. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and listen, we want to play with it. We want to hear your suggestions. We want to hear your input. So it's just going to be an opportunity for you weekly to hop on to the old stream and see what's up with Help Me Hank.
The old stream.
The old stream. What was the guy? Tom
It's like
Snyder?
you're acting like it's like a car in the garage. Like,
Here we go.
Take the cloth off.
Yeah. Anyways,
Take the bird drive.
thank you everybody for logging on, tuning in. However it is that you watch this, we appreciate it. And maybe Ken will be back sometime.
You never know.
All right. Enjoy your day.